Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today's a good one. We've got a number of things happening this weekend, so this video is going to be a big mash of the whole weekend. It's going to include Friday night, which is tonight, Saturday, which is Dursley Road Hill Climb, and then Sunday, which is the Bridgewater, not Bridge North, Hill Climb, south of Bristol. And so we're just going to mash it all up into one video. So I'm sorry if this is a long one, but hopefully provides a little bit of entertainment. So I wanted to start like Friday evening, the night before, because I wanted to start with food. I've got food already prepped here behind me. I've got 2 portions of sweet potatoes. We're going to make some chips out of those. We've also got some venison burgers for a little bit of a treat and a bit of morale before tomorrow's hill climb. So these are really low in fat, actually 5 grams of fat per burger, but 20 grams of protein. We'll see you in the morning for the first open hill climb of the year. But before I leave you this evening, Charlie's doing a ramp test on Zwift. So we're going to check in with her when she's finished. She hasn't done one since the end of June, so it's been about 2 months, and she's been like doing a couple of Zwift sessions, plus she's been riding outdoors a bit more regularly. So it'll be interesting to see what she gets. I haven't told her what her FTP was last time. She can't quite remember, so we're not going to tell her because then she'll know what to aim for. So we'll see what she does this time. You dropped Lionel Sanders. Let you catch your breath first. 182. Up from 165. It's almost 20 watts. Dropping Charlie off in Bristol, you're gonna see a friend, aren't you? And I'm gonna head like to North Bristol to do the first hill climb of this weekend. Just arrived. Here's the top of the hill. Just that. So I'm guessing like the finish is gonna be somewhere around here. I'm gonna find somewhere to park now. They're not doing this like they do with a lot of hill climbs where you have a headquarters because of social distancing and stuff like that. So we've been told just to try and find somewhere to park like in this lane. But I'm not too sold on that. And we're at the top of the hill, and I for the most part like to park at the bottom so I don't have to descend to the start and get cold. So we need to find somewhere at the bottom of the hill. Just past the 12% sign. Apparently this is the steepest section by here where this car's coming right now. These S-bends are like 20 odd percent apparently. Yeah, they look it, but they're not ridiculous. They're not ridiculously steep. Tarmac looks good. Now this looks steep, this section looks a lot worse. I just picked up my number. Shout out to the organisers for scrambling around and making up the last 10 numbers from homemade numbers and laminate. Really well done. I've just descended the climb and there's a fair flat section here. Okay, so today's hill climb race, official race, is on a climb called Stout Hill. I'll drop a pin location so you all know where I am at the minute. So if you ever want to try this climb, then you'll be able to find it. Failing that, you can just check out my Strava. What I would like to do throughout this hill climb season, to kind of get the focus away from, although this is all about performance and things like that, it's also about like racing up climbs I've never done before. Stout Hill is one I've never done before, and what I want to do is grade the climbs on like my own kind of scale of like, I don't know, 1 to 5. I feel like I should, for those of you that are new here, give you a little bit of an insight into what happens. You may be wondering why I'm sat in a car and I'm not kind of, you know, in a fancy, I don't know, team bus or something like that. Well, this isn't kind of what happens at these races. You know, these are kind of like very much community events, hill climb races. And this is no exception, especially with the pandemic that we have at the minute. So it's very much low key, these events now. The HQ is usually in a building. It's now in the back of the van, back of a van, currently. It sets a whole different dynamic. So, you know, we're so used to like racing up a climb and people cheering, and now that's not there. It's going to create a different atmosphere for sure for these races. But for the most part, I turn up early. It's like 9:15, and I get a chance to chill out a little bit. Although, because I've driven 2 and a bit hours to get here, I'm quite stiff, and so I would much rather prefer to have a warm-up, at least a good warm-up, and do a nice ride for 45 minutes or so, because I've already ridden up to the top of the climb, which took me 15 minutes. We'll put the race wheels on and we'll prepare. So I'm sorry if like the footage from this weekend, this video, is not what you expected it to be, but I'm excited. Like, I don't want to come away from these events now like I'm obviously wearing the stripes. It's a little bit of pressure to win events, but I think you lose the idea and you lose your pins. You lose the idea of kind of what a hill climb is supposed to be, and a hill climb is supposed to be you versus the climb, and you know, it's about the community, or at least that's why I do it. So it is all about giving everything you've got and seeing, you know, how much better you are than you were last year. But it's about enjoying it as well, and sharing that with you guys. So the game plan today, I put the stats up on the screen. This climb is like 1.6k, which is obviously, for those of you that work in miles, it's roughly a mile. Average gradient is pretty steep-ish, but it's steeper at the top than it is at the bottom. It's very much a climb that I think you can get a lot out of yourself, or rather a lot better time if you pace it, or pace it differently. So today, after much agonizing, I am going to actually go off easier. It's never the same every race, you know. Your tactics always change every race. It's never the same. So today what I'm thinking of doing is taking the first section of the climb, which is around about 30 to 45 seconds, which is flat, and if anything, slightly downhill. I'm going to kick really hard off the start line. I'm going to get up to speed, and said speed will be like 20 mile an hour. And then I'll tuck up. I'll try and get as aerodynamic as possible, and try and maintain speed, but without any effort, which is obviously difficult to do. But the idea will be that even if I give myself just 25 seconds of 300 watts, 400 watts there, it means it gives me an extra kind of gear to stay in when it gets really steep near that top section. It just buys me that kind of 20 seconds of breathing room where I can actually dig a little bit deeper later on. But, you know, because I haven't done this climb before, it's always a gamble.
Come on, Ed. Egg yourself now, mate. Come on. Go on, all the way, mate. Come on. Come on. All the way. Go on. Dig in.
Well, that was alright. I'm happy-ish with that. First out in and everything. I came second, I think. I haven't had official results yet because we're not allowed to hang around the finish area, but by 7 seconds to none other than Andrew Feather. By the way, it's great, like the fact that we finish these events and, you know, we have a chat, socially distanced of course at the end, and you know, me and Andrew are on like great terms. Is like, you know, it's a rivalry that we bounce back and forth. There's quite a few of us who are in this kind of range, you know, when you always have like, you know, 2 or 5 or 10 riders that are always really close to each other. It's really fun and entertaining, like not just for us, like to compete against one another, but also for the people, you know, at the event who support the event and put the event on. And you know, it's great publicity as well for the event, I think, to have, you know, 2 riders or 5 riders, like I say, who are always there or thereabouts and make the racing interesting and draw people in to enter the event, and of course, you know, the people to watch the event and support the event. I think it means a lot. It definitely means a lot to me to have that rivalry, to have somebody to push you. But yeah, I'm gonna go for a little spin now to think about things, and I'll take the GoPro. Initially, I'm happy with it. I didn't put out good power, like it wasn't brilliant. I rode the climb really well. These are my initial thoughts before like looking at the data, but it was 4:27 for me and 4:20 for Andrew. I think he went 3 seconds faster than his course record, but a fairly short climb, and with that flat section as well, made the climb even shorter. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that for the first one. How you doing, everyone? Checking back in. I've had a chance to look at my effort back. I think I did 455 watts for 427 I did in the end. Those of you that know, like, I'm terrible at like emptying a tank. I'm terrible at like, and I need to practice it now more, especially when I'm only coming like 7 seconds off a win on a course like that, and a course that doesn't suit me, or a climb this like really suits, like if you're out of the saddle. Those of you that watch Dylan Johnson's videos, you know, he's done a bit of insight into like, you know, seated or standing better. And when the gradient starts to get like really steep, it does kind of favour somebody who stands a lot more. So Andrew does love to stand when he climbs. Tomorrow, I'm really excited about tomorrow's climb because it's actually an even climb the whole way. I'll tell you more about it tomorrow, obviously. But it looks like there's going to be a slight headwind. It looks like it's going to be damp, and apparently it's slippery. And it also looks like it's going to be the same gradient the whole way, which like is much better for me, and it means I can stay seated and the gradient changes aren't going to affect me. So okay, this looks like the place for today's round 2 hill climb. It is supposed to be a dead-end road, dead-end climb. It takes you like to the top. This is like this area, I'm guessing, is kind of like a mini Brecon Beacons. It's like a mini national park. So I'm gonna try and ride the course a couple of times to see what this climb is like. I've just heard from a marshal that it's greasy, it's very wet here. There is forecast of more rain. I don't know whether it's going to come in time, but it's going to make the climb different. There's a bit of gravel in some sections, so knowing where to ride is going to be important. I don't want to be making that decision when I'm halfway up the climb. So a couple of other riders who are also very strong that weren't at the hill climb yesterday have decided to enter this one today. So I think it's going to be very tight at the top. But no regrets with this one. This one should suit me a little bit better because it's not steep, technically a faster climb, and also technical as well. So, by the way, have I told you how proud I am to wear this skin suit? The red, white and blue stripes. When I was national champion, like on the road, when I was under 23 British road race champion, I never got a chance to wear the jersey. But I don't take it for granted because I know that, you know, the irony is that the day that I won the national championship jersey was on a climb that suited me down to the ground. It's very hard wearing the jersey when you're doing climbs that sometimes don't suit you. That's something I think that, you know, not a lot of people think about or talk about. you know, I definitely lose more times than I win. And it's a weird feeling when you're national champion. Or even world champion, for that matter, I reckon. But while we're here, I might as well tell you what we've got planned next weekend. So next weekend is the Swindon double header. So there's a hill climb on Saturday morning and then like early Saturday afternoon. And then on the Saturday evening, I'm driving up to Newcastle to race the Headley on the Hill event. I think it's a GS Metro event, I think it is. So I'm excited to do, well, again, another weekend of hill climbs that I've never done. I've never done those hills. So it's another week of learning as far as I'm concerned. Oh, by the way, I bought these on Amazon. You're going to love these. For those of you that love cyclocross and those of you that love staying warm, I bought a pair of these, which are warm-up tights with the full length zip all the way down both sides, so I can just whip them off before the start. We are rare specimens of people. Like I've been known to wear like a big woolly jumper to warm up in on a climb. At the end of the day, you're gonna make do with what you got in it. But this is why I love hill climbing. It's just so raw. Yeah. I'm in no way affiliated with this brand, by the way, but they're amazing. Okay, here we go then. First impressions of this climb. Here's the start. Ed. Nice bit of gravel in the middle of the road to overcome straight away. So when I ride a climb like this, there's a couple of things I look for. And one, I look for lines on the road. I look for gravel, I look for anything kind of, you know, untoward that would slow me down. Little bumps, especially on steep climbs, the tarmac, when it's melted or when it's initially put down, it tends to cause ripples. You want to avoid places like that. Also damp patches, green patches where you get a bit of that kind of moss that settles on these lanes. But I also, on my Wahoo, have a look at the gradient. So at the minute we're at 6%, which is very, very easy. It's a steady gradient. Oh, so there we have it. I mean, that was pretty uneventful, I've got to be honest. It's pretty much straight, and it is very consistent gradient the whole way. It's actually very fast, I think. Definitely a big ring job. A good piece of advice I can pass on about warm-ups, especially if you're doing them on the road. Always do your research. I cannot emphasize that enough, because I've been in a situation where I've not necessarily got lost, but I've messed up the timings, and I've only just got back to the car before the start. The tactic of parking your car as close to the start as possible means you can strip off, you know, get into your skin suit, your race gear just before the start, and not, you know, you won't get cold. But definitely, if you're gonna warm on the road, which I prefer, because you get that feedback and you get that sensation of, you know, okay, this is how I feel, both not just in the legs, but, you know, upper body. I'm warming up the upper body by, you know, getting out the saddle up this climb, things like that. But it's always, for me, more motivated on the road. But definitely do your homework, like try and find some flat road, or try and find a climb you go up and down. But bearing in mind, you know, when you go up, you got to come down, and you could get cold. So just factor that in.
Go on, Ed.
Alley.
Go on, Ed.
What's going on, everyone? I feel like I've given myself like the biggest job to do in the world trying to edit this, because I know it's a super long one, and I apologise. No, actually, why I'm even apologising, like, I'm sure if you've watched up till now, then you're pretty interested in hearing like my blabbering thoughts about hill climbs and stuff. So I just want to wrap the video up now. Basically, I just want to say, like, it's been a good opening weekend, but it's also been a humbling opening weekend. Obviously expected to do better, but also in the same regard, like, I can't beat myself up about it. The truth of the matter is, like, I've shown up and I've given my best, and that's what I can be happy about, and that's what I can have joy from. You know, you don't have to be happy about everything, but you know, you can find aspects of your performance that you are happy with. I did say I'd rank the climbs. I don't know if I can rank them, but I can definitely say that I preferred today's hill climb more than Stout's Hill. Sorry, Dursley Road Club. It was just a bit too steep for me, my own personal opinion. I like the long ones, and I feel like well, the long and shallow ones, and I felt like today's climb just had a bit more. It had a nice view as well to the left, like it was, you know, woodland and just a nice kind of area to do it in. So I really liked them both, but I preferred today's. But yeah, I still feel like I'm an underdog, even though I'm national champ. Like, I still feel like I've got something to prove, mainly to myself. You know, I really want to, like, be a better version of this kind of hill climber that I always kind of aspire to be. Like, it's funny because I'm still annoyed at my ride, even though, you know, I've still come in the top 5. And it's like, it blows my mind that I can be annoyed with that. But you know, when you're fighting at the top, it's a whole different, like, kettle of fish. And I just feel like I can do so much better, and I'm willing now to prove that, and I'm willing to, like, change things, put things on the line, and I know how much I can improve short term if I do that. So anyway, as ever, I appreciate your support. Thank you for watching this long. If you made it this far and you haven't pressed the like button, please press the like button, and leave a comment down below if you enjoyed this, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks.